Hello everyone, my name is Nick Sparrow, and I would like to take a few minutes and show you how to add a memory to Family Search. So first you're going to go ahead and navigate to familysearch.org and then go ahead and click sign in. And of course you put in your username and password. Once you're signed in, what you're probably going to want to do, you don't necessarily have to do this, but if you want to just kind of follow along, this will make it easy. Go to Family Tree and then go to Tree. Now, when you come into the tree, if you're not seeing your name right here before, and there's an arrow right there, then what you should do is just click back, move this over by just left clicking and dragging, and then you want to click on your name. So like here's my name, and then go to tree. And what that'll do is reset this so that you're seeing the full tree, both sides of your family. And then once you have it this to where you're right here with both sides of your family, then go ahead and go up to landscape here and change it to fan chart. And the reason why I'm having you do this is because I just want you to look at your fan chart, which shows both sides of your family. And I want you to just find somebody in here that you have some sort of memory of. Okay, so here's me, there's my dad, my mom, and we've got my grandma and grandpa on both sides here. Okay, and then my great grandma is here, my great grandpa. Now I never met my great grandpa, but I did meet my great grandma briefly one time that I can remember, and on this side, and I never met any of my greats here. So what I want you to do is just look through the different people that have been part of your life and think of something that you could share. Now this could be various things. I'm going to click on one here just to kind of show you and give you some ideas. So I'm going to click on my grandma, and then I'm going to go to person. All right, so you can see that if I've already gone over to memories here, so it kind of automatically went to where I was before. A lot of times when you come in here, it's just going to be on details like this. And so you'll need to click on memories. Now, there may not be any memories in there for whoever you click on, but in the case of my grandma, there's quite a few. So you can see there's a bunch of pictures, okay? Not all of these are pictures of her. For instance, this one here and this one here are actually of my Uncle Russell, who he ended up dying at about age 5. But my aunt, she added these pictures because that is part of my grandma's story, right? So they're here showing that, you know, Russell had some pictures when he was real young. I don't know, he's probably maybe 2 years old here or something. So that's kind of fun. You can put pictures in here. Now just remember, if you put pictures in, you should either have permission from the person who took the picture, or it should be some picture that you took. Now if you can't get permission and it's some old picture that's in a book of remembrance or something, I think that's, you know, you're going to be fine scanning that in and uploading it. So that's the first option, is to upload a picture. Okay. Second option is to upload a document. Now this could be a typed up history. It could be a journal that maybe you've typed up or scanned in. I would recommend typing just so that everyone can read it. But you might also scan it just so that people can see what the handwriting of your ancestor looked like. That could be kind of fun. So you can see that my grandma has a couple documents that people have scanned or typed or scanned in here. And then the next option is stories. So in this case, you're gonna just be creating a story. So you'd click create a story. It's gonna, you know, say, do you want to put a photo with the story? Do you want it to be public? Because you can actually make it private, so only you can see the memory. I can't think of a scenario where you do that, but it must have come up. So there must be some scenarios where you would want to do that. Now remember that if you're living, anyone that's living in your tree, no one's going to be able to see anything you put in here but you, until that person has passed away. Just so you know. And then you're going to put a title, and then you just start typing. So you can just type your story here, and it's just you putting some short, generally memory down on for someone else to see. Now, if you want to do a longer story and it's going to be more than, say, maybe a page or two, then you probably want to type that up in, say, Word or something like that, Microsoft Word, and then upload it into the documents section rather than typing it as a story here. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back. All right. So you can see that my grandma, there's been quite a few people that have put stories. So let me just show you an example, like this one right here. Now, I don't even know, I'm guessing this is one of my cousins, but I don't recognize the name. But you can see it's just a little short thing talking about her big old bike that she had. And all of us remember her three-wheel bike because we all used it as kids. It was a lot of fun. So that's the memory there. Now, what's interesting about memories, you can see how many people have looked at it. You can have comments. There can be tags of events. You can tag a topic. You can add it to your albums. So there's quite a bit that you can do with these memories. Also, you can download them. Like if you wanted to have a copy of this, you can download that. I would just say if you do that, make sure you give credit to whoever actually put it there. All right, so rather than hitting back once you go into a memory, make sure you go and just use this bar right here, and I'm going to click to memories. Otherwise, it logs you out or takes you back out of the program in a lot of cases. All right, so you can see there's some others. There's one right here that I thought was interesting because it had a lot of the same memories I had of my grandma. But once again, it was somebody I don't even recognize the name of, so that's kind of fun that the other people had the same memories that I did. So this one's really easy. Just get in here. If somebody it can even be yourself. You can put stories on yourself so that when you die down the road, that story will become public to everyone, and people can enjoy. If you don't have anything you can say about somebody else, then say something about yourself, or put a document in here about yourself. Now, one thing I should mention on documents is you should not upload patriarchal blessings. Even if the person is deceased, they ask you not to do that. And I'm not a link in the description of the video. I'll link to the guidelines for memories. All right, and then the last one here is audio. Now you can see there's 6 audio files here. These are audio files that I actually put here myself back in 2017. I recorded my grandma telling her own life story. Well, it was too big because the audio file limitation is 15 megabytes, and so I broke it into 6 files. I'm realizing it's quite confusing because of how it ordered them, because like this is the first one, this is the second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, so it's kind of confusing. If someone comes in here, they may not realize that, and they're going to click here and they're going to try to start, and it's not going to make any sense. So I'm actually going to combine all these files into the smallest I could get it, which is 2 files, to make it less confusing and make it a little bit more clear on the name. So I'm going to say part 1, part 2, because 1.6 and 1.5 may not mean anything to someone. So that's kind of a general guideline when you're uploading things. Try to make the file as descriptive as possible. Don't use like 1.1 like I did here. Use part 1 and part 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause right now, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you uploading a file. So hang tight. Okay, I'm back. So I've deleted 5 of the 6. I wanted to show you deleting this one. Now you can only delete stuff that you actually put in here. So you won't see the delete option if it's something you did not contribute. So I'm going to click on details here, and within the audio file there's an action, and actually within most of the memories you'll see an action drop down like this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit delete. You can also archive it, but I'm going to delete this one because I'm going to replace it. All right, so there you can see a story that someone put in. They put a picture of my grandma in there, and then they just wrote this little story. You can see, it's about 1 page. It's very nice. All right, so I'm just going to go back. Now, if it doesn't have that bar I was showing you earlier, then you can actually go back here, and it'll work. Okay, so you can see there's no audio file. So I'm going to say upload audio. And then the ones I fixed are these 2 here. It took me a while of kind of playing around with it to get it compressed enough that I could do this. But here's my part 1. So I'm just going to double click that. and then it's gonna it has to go through approval process. So it's just, you're not going to be able to see it right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the second one. So I'm going to do upload audio. I'm going to, of course, you'd have to navigate. I've already navigated there for sake of time, but you might have to navigate through here, get to wherever you saved your file. And then you're going to double click it and it's going to go ahead and put that in there. All right. So you can see both of those, and they're going to kind of look like this for a day or two, and then they'll get approved, and then they'll be here. So now that I've renamed this to part 1 and part 2, and actually you can see this part 1 and then part 2. Actually, you know what? Here's something else to take into consideration. I'm going to delete this. Back here, it puts them in reverse order. So what I want to do is upload part 2 first and then upload part 1 second. I hope that'll push this one over. Yes. Okay. Oh, and you actually see that this one got approved already. So take that into consideration. If you're going to have to break your audio file up, upload it in reverse order. So like part 2 first, then part 1. That way it kind of reads 1, 2. Otherwise it reads backwards like it was before. So this should be a lot better for people. There's less files. It's less confusing. I cleaned up the name. So just keep that in consideration, or take that into consideration when you're uploading audio files especially. Now, just to give you a little bit of hint on the audio file, because it's really easy just to go to somebody who's in your family, pull out your phone, download a sound recorder, I think, or voice recorder is an app that's out there that's for free, and you just hit play and ask your what I'd recommend is saying when the date is and who you're talking to, who you are, and then let them tell their story. And if you keep it to 30 minutes to the chunks, then you're not going to have the problems I had. The total length of the one I was working with was 1 hour and 16 minutes, and so that's why it ended up being too big, because of the 15 megabyte limit. But you can compress files and get them down. So anything around 30 minutes or less, you're going to be fine. You'll be able to upload it in a single file. If you're going to go longer than that, I would recommend just stopping at 30 minutes and then starting a second file. And that way you don't have to do all the extra stuff I had to get it down to 2 files. If you have any questions and you want to do this and you're just intimidated by it, please feel free, if you know me, to give me a call, and I'll help you with the audio part so you can do that. Because I think it's a great way. For one, you get to hear the voice of your ancestors. So for instance, like some of my young kids, they don't know my grandma. They've never heard her voice. They've only seen pictures. So to be able to hear her voice now that she's passed is a great thing for them. And that was something I was able to do for my posterity, so they can hear my grandma, which is their great grandma, and their kids, great great grandma. And so I would recommend doing audio if you don't have any pictures or stories that you can think of. Try to find somebody in your family that's maybe getting up there in the years, or maybe not. Maybe maybe they're not that old, but get their story and get it recorded. Anyway, that's memories. Pictures is option 1. Documents, things that you can type up or scan in potentially, and actually these have to be PDFs, just so you know. And if you have any problems converting a document to PDF, once again, if you know me, just give me a call and I'll help you with that. And then stories, you just free type, so these are really easy. And then audio. Okay, so then everyone has access to that and everyone can see what you contributed. Now I am going to show you how to do a picture, because these 2 pictures of my uncle who died when he was 5, they're actually not on his profile. And so since these were uploaded by my aunt, I reached out to her, I asked her if it was okay if I could upload them onto Russell's page. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So I'm actually going to go back to the tree view. And then I'm going to go to Russell, who's right here. And I'm going to go to person. and you can see, actually, I guess one of them did get the tiger one, but the horse one's not uploaded. So I'm going to go ahead and say upload photo. And I'm going to navigate. Let's see, I got to remember where I saved this. I think it was here. No. Right here. Okay, so here's the horse one. So this is what uploading a photo looks like. So it's going to say processing. It doesn't really give you much more. It's kind of like the audio files where it has to go through an approval process because it has to meet the guidelines that I mentioned earlier. But then you'll see this will upload and then we'll see both of these. Now, one thing you can do in photos is tag them. This one is tagged, even though it's on Russell's page, is Verla, what's it, his mom, and then I've tagged it here as Russell. And what that does, it'll link it to the profile. So if you upload this, say like in the case of my grandma, this was uploaded on my grandma's. When I tag Russell on the photo that's uploaded on my grandma's site, it will actually move over here. So you wouldn't have to do that upload manually like I just did. I wanted to do that to show you. But by tagging somebody on somebody else's profile in a picture, it'll actually put that picture on their profile if they're deceased. If they're not deceased, then it won't do that. All right, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, reach out to the family history consultants. They're happy to help you, or either of the Elders Quorum representative for family history or Relief Society representative for family history, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you.